almost live. Welcome to Tea Time. It is now 5:11, giving everyone a moment to get all settled in. It is such a beautiful day in the neighborhood, so nice outside, but I am drinking some tea. Um, Had a little cough and I didn't want to get to talking and then started to choke. So, hey, and L. So, I am having some good old herbal tea. Today's topic is we're still here. Tea time is still here. Tea time is celebrating. Hey, sis. Tea time is celebrating year number 2. Hey, Nine. Happy anniversary to Tea time. Tea time is still standing, still sipping, and still bringing you tea, giving everyone now. Thank you so much. This is my celebration hat. Let me try to cock it to make it extra cute for this anniversary. Tea time anniversary. Have just celebrated their 2 years. Um, just celebrated 2 years, tea time, and just think that it all started with me trying to get the encouragement to do one session, not worrying about being perfect, not worrying about what I had on, what was done or what wasn't done, but just stepping out on faith and doing something that I always wanted to do. So as we join on, we will constantly be hearing me mention throughout this broadcast today, this family therapeutic session. Happy anniversary. Oh, watching my hey Lo. Hey Lo. Lo is watching Tea Time with us today. I hope that he's enjoying it. Happy birthday to a bit. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary to hey sis to everyone. Got my little brother Lo watching today. Wishing him such a speedy recovery. He's such a big part of my heart. With lots of love going out to him his way, watching with his little sister, with his little brother. That's the post right there. That's the caption. So today is Tea Time's anniversary. And I'm so glad that you all are joining today. It has been 2 years. We're going to give everyone a chance to jot in a chat whenever you're ready what your favorite episode was, as well as something that you're looking for on Tea Time or something that you enjoyed. It may have not have been like a favorite, but it's something that really touched you thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any episode that you're on. Okay. So aside from Tea Time anniversary today, I do want to let you all know that we're already in the countdown to K Day number 48. But hey, he's too strong for this. Who's too strong for this? What I said. Okay, yeah, he's too strong for this. Okay. So y'all know that we are also in K Day. Countdown to K Day. K Day is May 11th, and that's where 511 came from. Tea Time it Wednesdays was for Women Crush Wednesday because when I first went into it, it was in honor of my sandbox sister Benita, who we lost a few years ago to cancer. So that's what initiated the Wednesday, and what initiated the 511 was my birthday, which is May 11th, right? So that's how we came up with Wednesdays at 511. And we're also in countdown for K-Day season, which is May 11, which is right around the corner. So the celebrations are already beginning. I will be having two very special dates coming up. Actually, three. I'll be doing something Sunday with some sister. I'll be doing some things Monday. Hey, Donald, which is Monday is a holiday for DC, so I'm going to hook up with my work sisters. And then that evening, I had something planned with my other DC government HSS sisters. So definitely looking forward to K Day, and definitely looking forward to celebrating my anniversary with each and every one of you. We Let's see what else do we have. Want to thank Easter. So before we get into the other half, we're talking about the anniversary of Tea Time. I hope you all enjoyed your Easter. I have on today exactly what I wore for Easter. Me and my mom dressed alike. The only difference was that my mom wore, hey sister, my mom wore a lighter color hat than my cheetah hat. I wore a cheetah hat with cheetah shoes, but we were dressed exactly alike. Hey, niece. Thank you all so much. Oh, and sis. Okay, hey, got her right there with you too. Hey, Michi. Thank you all so much for joining. And so for Easter, did anyone enjoy their Easter? So before I get into the whole Easter spinner things, let me just say this. DC public schools was not out for Good Friday, right? I know Maryland was, but DC was not. When I was in school, if there is anyone around my age, we were out on Good Friday, or am I off with that? I could have sworn that we were, I don't know if maybe my grandmother kept us out because we were Catholic, but we were out on Good Friday and Easter Monday, right? But this year, they were in for Good Friday, and I think some of DC schools were out for Easter Monday, but charter schools were in. Do anybody know? Has that changed? Has that changed at all? Because I know things are not as religious based in the school setting, so I'm not sure if that's the reason for the change. But change. But growing up as a child, I could have sworn that we were out for Easter Monday and for Good Friday. DCPS was all for Professional Development Day for Monday, not Easter. Oh wow. And let's see, in Gary and Long Beach schools, I was young. You were in, let me see where when I was young. Okay, when they were younger, they were in. Okay, make sure y'all are hitting the like button. We're celebrating. This is Tea Time second anniversary. So if you have not already done so, please hit the like button. Yeah, you were out, right? So we all were out. So I guess things are truly changing. I don't know if they're almost trying to ease Easter off the calendar, but I know that we didn't get to do as much as I had planned for Easter Monday. We did do the bunny and the making of the Easter basket and the dyeing of the Easter eggs, but we didn't get to do as much Sunday. But Sunday, let me just say this: Sunday, we could not find the key to the van. And we need the van because my mom's wheelchair fits in the van, the back of the van. It drops down for a wheelchair. So you drop the wheelchair down in the van, which is really a great space saver. And we could not find the key on Easter Sunday. We got at church so late till I was almost like, oh my God, we can't go in here. It's so late. And I'm the one that's the true believer of no matter how late, late is better than never, right? So we did eventually go in, but Lord behold, after we were sitting in church for a little while, some of my favorite cousins came back unannounced. Everybody know Aunt Fizzy is the favorite, right? And two of her children and four of her grandchildren came and fellowship with us. So it was the six of them, and then it was me, my mom, Yari and Nala, uh, Yanni, Shamika, and Donna. So it was 13 of us. I think it was 13 of us total. We all went out to eat after Sunday. So, anything that can seem to be bad, anything the devil try to throw a monkey wrench in, just remember and be mindful and be optimistic that anything can be turned around to good. So we did end up having a beautiful Easter Sunday. We did get to take pictures in the grassy area of the church that I've had them taking pictures at in front of since I think Pookie Yanni. I think Yanni was probably about 5 or 6. And they've been having pictures in front of that sign every year since then. So we are still hitting the like button, but I hope you enjoyed your Easter. Did anyone prepare an Easter dinner? I think this was the first time in a long time that we went out to eat as opposed to eat an Easter dinner. And I truly, truly, truly love my cooking. Sometimes my yams can use a little bit more sweetened. Sometimes the mac and cheese may need a little bit more cheese. But I definitely do appreciate my food. It's really in a good place where you really enjoy your own food. And when you can go out somewhere and eat and be like, oh, I could have made this at home. I could have made, because I am really in that space just because of how people are not that clean with how they handle things, just going to some restaurants, seeing how the upkeeping of them, or just them having all types of rodents and things like that can really, leave things a sour taste in your mouth. So I didn't get to cook. I should have took advantage of the community room and set something up there, but I truly didn't get to. And that day has came and gone, and we lived to see another one. So I just want to say happy Easter to each and every one of you, whether you were able to cook, spend time with family, or just stay quietly in the house. I hope that you enjoyed your day, and that you were able to get rest and much needed time. Okay, so now that we talked about K Day coming up and we talked about Easter, you know what it's time for. It's time to go right back around to what this topic is today. Happy anniversary to Tea Time. I want to thank each and every one of you who tunes in each and every Wednesday. Do not find it robbery to join me, to support me, to be here for me, regardless of what I may be talking about. So, right now, I want to just ask you, did you have a tea time that you enjoyed the most? Did you feel like you had a tea time that the topic was on the nose for you? Or if you just had someone on it that was hosting it that meant so much? My favorite tea time moment that still resonates with me is when my son and my niece hosted it. Hosted tea time, and they did the stop the violence, and they talked about from a teenager perspective. That really, really, really stood out for me, right? That was your favorite one? Okay, that really we had more views on that topic than ever. I definitely want to get them back. I definitely want to get a panel going so that we can just really tap into the minds of our young folks. You know, we sometimes see so much going on in the news. I know that it was a funeral just on yesterday, where someone had a funeral service at a funeral home, and there was gunshots that rung out, and I believe it was one person died, three were injured, and this is at a funeral. And I'm just thinking, at my old job, they used to call me the widow. They said every week I had a funeral to go to, and it's just that my church is older, so that was the season where we had lost a lot of people. So I was at funerals a lot. Excuse me. And because of that, they you would make a joke about me saying I was just making up funerals to go to. But with going to something like that, so if you know anyone that has those thoughts, and if there's anybody you could talk to on any given day that because I feel like most of us are capable of doing anything. I am not the one that see topics and see things go on and be like, oh my God, they crazy, because you never know what led somebody to this. But what I would say is, try being the voice of reason, right? If you know someone that's thinking these types of acts, even if it wasn't a funeral, but a graveyard or whatever the case may be, if you can talk them out of it, please, 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 please do so. Because the thing about it is, everybody there is not your target. People have family members that's coming in from out of town. They have co-workers, they have neighbors, they have people that they went to school with that may not be associated with any type of street violence, any type of street nonsense. Out of respect, they're just coming to give respect to the family. They're just bringing a card. And for someone to have to be encountered with that, which is going to pay their respect, I don't know everything around it, but just to be going to try to pay your respect somewhere, and you're either going in a church or outside of the church or just standing there, and gunshots just to start ring out, and people are shot, and one person even lost their life. Like, we know that there's nothing but praying times, right? And we know that our young people have a lot going on, and I don't put all the blame on them, because I do feel like it's like a combination of things. You're talking about parenting, we're talking about the system, we're talking about schools. And when you bring all those together, and the teenagers play some responsibility in it too, it's a whole big ball of mess. So please, 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 if you all can prevent anything, I ain't telling you to go out there and try to be a state trooper or a piece of holic and run up on people and tell them to put the gun down. I'm saying that if you know someone is going through something, and you've overheard a conversation where someone loves and respects you, because don't go saying nothing to nobody you don't know. I'm gonna tell you, leave these people alone. But if it's someone that you think that you can say something to, and it would not be detrimental to your health at all, please try to be the voice of reason. It may not always work. Of course, we know that, but at least you can say, well, I tried. And I tried to intervene, but you don't have any control over what happens from there, right? Anyone else? I need to know, what was your favorite tea time moment? I would like to say, last year we had a tea time anniversary celebration, and we had it at Levi's. We had it in a little private room at Levi's. It was awesome. We had cupcakes with all the guest speakers' names on them. We had food. We had little pictures. We took pictures. We talked. We had some little interactions. It was a great experience. If you took part of that, last year with us. We definitely thank you for celebrating with us. I do know that we're gonna skip it. Yes, the pins. Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. Yes, TeaTyme had anniversary pins. My plan was something for you. Love those pins. Thank you. The two-tier cake was really excellent. My plan is to maybe do something for year three. Not sure because I think year three lines up closer with my 50th birthday. But I do know that I plan on doing something really big for year five. But for this year, going into next year, I will be recognizing some of you all, as I always try to do, and sending you all out a gift. Okay. Anyone else want to share? Thank you for the pens. Those pens were really nice. And those pastel colors were really nice. So thank you all so much for joining us for that. Anyone else? Anyone else have something? If you don't have anything that you want to share about one of your favorite episodes, or anybody have something that you want to talk about that we have not talked about? We've talked about several things. We're talked about crime. We talked about mental health. We talked about road rage, co-workers, family members. We're talking about taxes and tax breaks. We had speaking of the 50th birthday, let me submit my RSVP that thing. Thank you, sis, because you know you will be there. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anything that you're looking for that we may have not gotten to yet? Um, you are enough. Yes, you are enough. Thank you so much. That definitely reminds us, because those are one of those topics that we keep having to go back to remind ourselves in the midst of it all, in the midst of feeling like everything's falling apart, in the midst of just feeling like you're not worthy. Remember all 2020, all 2023, that you are enough. You are sufficient. Anyone else, just throw it right out here and we're waiting for it. I wish you would have had a nice person to come and sing for us, but we'll get to it. We'll definitely get to it. And beyond, and beyond. Yeah, we'll pick up another slogan, but we know right now we're just more than enough. Anyone else? We had the co-parenting thing that Chucky talked about with parenting. we always do the we always do the love topics about love. We talk about the NFL and the Super Bowl, and sports in general. Um, you want to sing for us, so that must be Sanaya. Okay, so we know that you're not going to pull it together today, but we will have you to come back and sing, because we are going to open up with a few people that can sing. I want to reach out to my niece Tabitha and see if she can sing. You know, I always like to remind you all that she sings with Maverick Music, which is Kirk Franklin. And I just can't shout her out enough and talk about how proud I am of her. Anyone else? We talk about Thanksgiving. We told you all to not bring food that you can't cook. When we get into the Thanksgiving season, we always remind you all to not prepare food if you know you're not clean. You know you're not clean, and if you're not clean, just cook for you in your own house, because 9 times out of 10 they know. But if you know you're not the most cleanliness person, don't be saying you're bringing nothing to the potluck, getting other people sick. Keep you and your food at home. We talked about that. We talked about Christmas and sometimes sharing love, and it's not about spending all your money, but to making sure people appreciate you. Is there any other topics that we have touched on or we did not touch on, that you all would like to discuss for the 2023 tea time? For the 2023 tea time, we definitely know we're going to have our youth back here again. Um, we talked about parenting. If you name it, I think that we didn't discuss that. I know we started off with our first guest, which was the Dr. Tamika Greenwood, and we talked about health. We went into diabetes and all those types of things. Is there anything else that I may be forgetting, that we talked about with tea time? Anything else that I may be forgetting? Or anything else that we need to talk about? So the plan for some of the things that we're going to talk about is, I cannot keep stressing that we plan to have the youth back. Another thing we're going to talk about is the importance of fathers in the home. We know that it's important to have. I was trying to think of your topic too, but I knew it was something to do with work. When we talked about co-workers, I was trying to recall it. But we want to talk about fathers. and we want to talk about it. When we're talking about it, I'm going to make sure I have a lot of fathers on, because sometimes we miss as fathers, we miss as mothers, but we sometimes have to be honest with what's going on in our communities. And right now, fathers in our communities are impacted even more than moms. And it's not to say that moms is doing it necessarily right, but men are the leaders, right? They set the foundation, right? So that's why we're going to have a topic and we're going to discuss it. And we want women to start prepared to take some notes. I probably want to do it in May because I want to stay away from it close to Father's Day. So maybe we can talk about it in May. If we don't talk about it in May, we will talk about it after Father's Day. So it'll be towards the end of June or the 1st of July. But we just want to talk about what happens that makes men be more present when they're in the home than when they're outside of the home. How can we go back and get that culture put back into our African American families where fathers, I'm sorry, are just important in the home as they are outside of the home. So, meaning that if you are a father, what should that look like? You should know your child's shoe size. You know, you should know your child's teacher name, right? You should know your child's activities, just keeping them involved. If you're a father and you're not in the home, you should be picking a child up from school 3-4 days a week, if not taking them 3 or 4 days. So we're going to do some teaching on that. And we know that we have even more women viewers than men, but we're going to hope that they're going to get that information out. So if you are a mother, if you are a sister, if you are a wife, even if you are a girlfriend, holding your spouse accountable. And we want it to be either way, because you may be a man that's doing all these things and may have a woman, I'm so sorry, that has never seen her children in the past year or two. And we want to make sure that you have the tools and the information. How can we get African American men overly involved? Overly involved when they're not in the home, because sometimes absency can be while you're in the home, but we're talking about when they're honestly outside of the home, especially for children where the kids may have lived in the home with the dad, and for whatever reason, dad is no longer in the home. So they have a miss, they have a yearn, they need that connection, that attention. What does that look like? How do we get it back? So when I have this topic, I'm going to have men on a panel because I want to hear from them, because we as women can talk about it, but some things we just don't have the answer to. Connecting. And when we talk about you are enough for 2023, some of this has to be that the men will know that you are enough. You're more than child support, right? You're more than weekend visitations. I see more and more each day now where men are not having to pay child support. They're doing shared custody. They're doing all types of custody agreements. I am a big advocate for that because I think that's what it needs to be more. Not just I send a check every week, every 2 weeks, or every month, and then I remove myself from the equation and let mom figure it out. Our sons, even though our daughters too, but our sons need their father presence, if not in the home, in their community base. And it's so important because right now what's happening is they don't have it and they're looking to the guys in the street as their role model, right? And it's an impacting us generations after generations of this behavior. And a lot of times it stems from a lot of violence. So that's one of the things that we will be talking about on Tea Time. um, let's see, real quick. There was something else that's supposed to be in the hot tea piece, but now it's warm outside, so we're going to the cold tea. So there was an incident at an elementary school in DC. And please feel free to chat if there's something else, either why I'm talking, or you can always send me a text message with what you're looking for if you're not comfortable with sharing it in open, what you're looking from Tea Time for 2023, something that you truly want to talk about. But there's an incident that happened at an elementary school in DC where two children were they considered a kidnap, were taken from school without their mom knowing. The person that took the kids, or the person that they stated took the kids, signed her name as Jessica something, which was a fake name, when actually she was the father's ex-girlfriend, I believe, and they had a breakup. So she went to the school to take his children to get attention from him. So this parent was on the news. Um, then after the parent was on the news, just yesterday I heard her on the radio station on 93.9. And then just today I received a clipping that she was on something called Hollywood Unlocked. So she's blaming the school system because On their door, it says that there's a 100% ID check. So she want to know, how was this person able to get her children from school? If it's a 100% ID check, how were they able to get her children from school? Have anybody heard about that story? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Oh well, you didn't hear about. Oh, you didn't hear about it. Okay, I'm gonna send you the links, Trey. I will send it to you. And I just gave my favorite aunt kids a shout out for fellowshipping with us on this past Easter Sunday and having dinner all together. Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay, yes, you heard of it, Sally. Yes, I heard about the story. Anyone else? The school failed to check the person's ID. I didn't hear about that either. Okay, I'll send a link to you, sis, as well. Yes. So she sent it. I'm gonna make sure I forward it to you all. It happened in March, and the mom is really upset because she feels like the school swept it under the rug. It was a Nala school? No, it wasn't a Nala school. Did it happen at Nala school too? No, it actually happened at Turner Elementary. Did Nala school have an incident like that? Because I was sending her school praise how even though Mika cousin is over the aftercare, and I've been knowing Mika cousin since she was about 2, and every time I go get Nala, she wants the code in my ID. So Pookie wasn't at Nala school too, because this school was at Turner. Turner Elementary is located in Southeast DC. Trail, matter of fact, is right near my church. Um, where you just came to visit. It's the school that sits directly across from my church. And it's called Turner Elementary. Yeah, it was at Turner. It was, and now right. Okay, so maybe the other schools are just like taking precautions because there's a lot of controversy around it right now. But yes, it was at Turner, right? So, how do you all feel about that? And you all have to kind of talk, and I may not get to read everything because y'all know I got a little cough. But how do you all feel about that? Do you all feel that the school should have ID before, and the children, were they 4 and 5 or 5 and 7? I know I put the age 5. I think they were 4 and 5 or 5 and 7. Should that person been carded before they gave them those children? And I need to, who else said they didn't hear about it? I got Kern, I got Trail, and I'm making sure I'm sending this to you all. Make sure I send it out to anyone else. So you all feel that the school was responsible, that the school should have ID that person. Yeah, definitely, but they should have followed protocol. So yes, mom is not letting this go. Mom is not letting this go. And Turner did not make a comment. However, DC Public School did say that they take the children's safety very seriously. Definitely, Sula asked for my ID and my. You know what? Sister, that's the same thing I said about Suitland. Shamika is finished with Suitland, but the program she in goes to 21, so she's on a base. And she works on a base until she's 21 through Suitland, well, through Prince George County Schools, who gives her bus service and other accommodations. But I went there to pay for her prom ticket, and I went there to pay for, it was something else I had to pay. And they wanted to see my ID, and Shamika is 20 years old. Yes, they should have checked the person ID before they allow that person to get their children. Checking IDs is always important. Nicely stated, Shamika. Checking IDs are always important. They should have checked the ID. So we sometimes are in situations where, and I just want to share this and make sure we're clear, where familiarity sometimes gets us in a lot of trouble. And what I mean by that is we sometimes do common practices, and it doesn't mean that the common practice that we're doing is absolutely right. So please be mindful, right? That when you're working in a school setting or pretty much any setting, people come and go, right? And you see so many children, you see so many parents that you sometimes can make an honest mistake. So to not make the mistake, it's very important that you follow protocol. I need your ID. And this would have stopped a lot of that, right? Because I know of a story where someone tried to do it to another person's child at daycare, but the daycare called the police on them, knew that that person was not supposed to be at that daycare, called the police on it, and got that address right away, right? Now, if you're that person, male or female, and you may want to get your boyfriend or girlfriend's attention by taking their children, I will suggest not, because they have charged that person with kidnapping, child endangerment, a list of things. And she know the kids a little bit. So she probably wasn't gonna hurt him, but she probably had no idea that she was going to be dealing with felonies trying to get his attention. So if you are that crazy lover, please, please, please get some help for that. Leave people children alone. No matter how long you've been with someone, his children is his children, your children are your children. Chances are, if it doesn't work out, you may not have any interaction with those kids. Sometimes you do, but a lot of times you don't. It goes on being your children, goes on being his children. So let's not kidnap anybody, kids. Let's really, really make it our business that let those people have those children, right? When my little ones went to Orr Elementary, they father picked them up and didn't know who signed them out. I went off and he was not on the list to pick them up, even though it wouldn't be a problem because that could have been anyone picking my babies up. They were just 3 and 4 at the time. The school is definitely responsible. So if you work at a school, if you work at a daycare, even down to the nursing home, make sure you are checking people IDs, make sure they are signing in and out, and make sure that you're keeping whoever you are entitled and charged with to be responsible for. Make sure you're taking them their situation, their children's situation seriously. Although you can see that mom couldn't have put on a better act than me myself, but at the same time, it was valid. So at the end of the day, don't even allow someone to get an Oscar off of you. Just do the right thing. It's time to get ready to wrap it up. The weather is nice. We're still on our cleaning out spree from our storage unit, so that's next up for us. But happy anniversary, Tea Time. Happy anniversary to each and every one of you all who have been with me from start to finish. Love you guys so much. So appreciative of you all. And I look forward to resuming with one of your great topics for next week. Have a great day.